Sridhara Shrikara Shreya Shriman Lokatraya Shreya. These are the 4 lines from Vishnu Sahasranama, which says, He who carries goddess Lakshmi on his chest, he who gives all wealth to his devotees, he who is the personification of perennial happiness, he who is a gentleman. Why did I pick these 4 lines? Because we are talking about Mrigashira Nakshatra or Mrigashirsha, the head of a deer. This is a gentle nakshatra, as we should say. Now we come to the 5th nakshatra in our nakshatra series. If you have been observant, you will find the progression of series with Aries in Ashwini. We started with the initiator, then we went to Bharani, who is the control, who has a life lesson of control and restraint. Then we went on to Kritika, who has fiery transformation. And now Rohini, which was all grounded and materialistic. And 5th one is Mrigashira. Now we are searching for something. Mrigashira is represented by the head of a deer. Think of the deer in the forest when you're talking about Mrigashira. The deer is always constantly searching for something in the forest. Okay, that's the symbology of this constellation. So it falls between 23 degrees 20 minutes of Taurus and goes up till 6 degrees 40 minutes of Gemini. So this splits into 2 zodiac signs. The first 2 padas, Dharma and Artha pada, are in Taurus, while Kama and Moksha pada are in Gemini, exactly half. And the Navamsha of this goes in the first 2 padas from Taurus to Leo and Taurus to Virgo. And in the next 2 padas, it goes from Gemini to Libra and Gemini to Scorpio. So what's the energy of this nakshatra? What does this provide us with? The energy of Mrigashira is flexible. They're very flexible people. They can be joyous, gentle, and with a lot of charm and grace, especially in Pada 1. They can be very attractive and magnetic because Taurus goes into Leo in Pada 1. Desires that go against the norms, especially in Pada 4. Why? Because Gemini goes into Scorpio in Navamsha, which is in the Moksha Pada. They could be chasing relationships, 3rd Pada, because it's on Kama Pada and it's going from Gemini to Libra, both of which are Kama signs, air signs. They could be extremely fixated in Pada 2, for example, because it goes from Taurus to Virgo, both of which are earth signs. Forest and nature is very comforting to them. They could be self-indulgent, especially in Pada 4 going into Scorpio, which is internal in nature. The theme of this nakshatra, they are searching for calling. They're constantly searching for some calling, one or the other. Maybe more so in Pada 3. It could be in relationships, if you're talking about the 7th house. It could be spirituality if you're talking about the 9th house. Profession if you're talking about the 10th house. Partners, 7th house. Knowledge, 5th house, etc. So you see how this nakshatra placement and the planets that are deposited there is more important than anything else to determine which pada it is going into and what drives this personality, what drives the life lesson. So they could be going overboard. On the downside, they could become suspicious in nature, cowardly, defensive, hiding, camouflage themselves, especially in Pada 4 because it goes from Gemini to Scorpio. They could be creatives in Pada 1 because Taurus goes into Leo, which is the 5th house. They could become accountants in Pada 2, which is Virgo. They could become intellectuals in Pada 3, which is Libra. They could become journalists in Pada 4, which is Scorpio. So what is a life lesson? As we can see, this nakshatra is very diverse in its what they want to do and accomplish because they are soft, they are intelligent people. Gana is Dev and the deity is moon god itself. This is not Chandra, the planet. This is Soma, the moon god. So they are looking for some essence of life where they can feel joy. So the life lesson for this Nakshatra is finding core commitment which resonates deeply to work with. Because the deer is always searching for something and there is a deer representation, constantly seeking and going from one thing to another won't help these people. If you have majority of planets and points in Mrigashira, you've got to remember this. Especially personal planets, Mercury, Venus, the nodes of the moon, etc. Don't keep drifting from one thing to another. Find your core commitment which resonates deeply and commit yourself to that. Work with that. So the pie chart shows where we are on the nakshatra wheel. The mantra is Vishnu Sahasranama because Vishnu will give you that deeper energy of what would make sense to you personally. As you listen to the Sahasranamas, why I keep recommending Sahasranamas is it gives you more broader perspective and energies of who you are. The ages this nakshatra is active is 4, 8, 17, 25, 34, 46, 50, 65, 73, and 79. So it's a very active nakshatra and it will show up in the houses, whichever one is active at any given age. Mrigashira. Beautiful nakshatra. Vishwakarma manusthvashtas thavishtas dhavirodhruva. These are the lines from the beautiful Vishnu Sahasranama, the 1,000 names of Vishnu. Now we are almost halfway through our 27 nakshatra because now we speak of the 14th nakshatra of Chitra, the bright one, which falls in the Spica constellation. So Chitra Nakshatra comes between 23 degrees 20 minutes of Virgo and moves up till 6 degrees 40 minutes of Libra. The first two padas are in Virgo and the next two padas are in Libra, which means the Dharma and Artha come in Virgo and the Kama and Moksha go into Libra. So we are examining the natures and energies of nakshatra. What is the nature of this nakshatra? This is a soft nakshatra. This is a gentle nakshatra. These people are more creative in nature. The energy of Chitra Nakshatra is one of opportunity. They're chasing opportunities in life, creation of physical energy, physical beauty. The deity is Vishwakarma. That's why I spoke about lines from Vishnu Sahasranama, which spoke of Vishnu as the Vishwakarma, the creator of everything physical that we see in this Maya. So the creation of physical beauty, architecture, the physical architecture is the theme of this nakshatra. Being Virgo, they can be very practical also in the first two. It stands for architecture, harvest, success driven, action oriented, to overcome negativity through effort, especially in the second pada, which is of Artha, which means Virgo going into Virgo in Navamsha. So this becomes a very dominant Virgo theme. Virgo stands for the sixth house, to do hard work, right? Overcome negativity through effort in the second pada. Growth, creating balance between spirituality and materialism. This is another big theme of Chitra Nakshatra. They can be pulled between two opposites of spirituality and materialism, and they need to create that balancing act in their lives. They need to do both equally, but they need to balance that. They can be social birds, they have an active social lives, they could be very attractive physically, amiable with people, especially in the third pada of Kama, which goes from Libra in the natal chart to Libra in Navamsha. So it's the Vargottama of Libra, which means they are all about other people. Chitra Nakshatra is very commonly found in the charts of famous actors and actresses. Okay, in the film industry, film and media, people who are popular because they are all about creativity. They are all about being about other people because they are active and they are very attractive physically, very amiable with people. You need to be that if you are acting. Lots of sexual energy is another theme of this nakshatra, especially when we are going into Libra. It's very intense. They can have a lot of frustration On the downside, they could become arrogant and narcissistic, especially in the fourth pada when Libra goes into Scorpio. The life lesson for Chitra Nakshatra is something very strange. Sensual brilliance needs truth. Truth here meaning as is. Look at things as is and be accurate about it. Sensual brilliance needs truth to shine. So if you are sensually brilliant, which is the basic theme or basic energy of Chitra Nakshatra, then you need to get to the truth of things. See things for what they are, not what your mind wants it to be or not what people around you make them out to be. Don't color the truth with your own lens. Truth is as it is. You need to go and find what the truth is. Then you can truly shine in this world. That's the life lesson of Chitra Nakshatra. So if your dominant number of personal planets, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Moon, Rahu, Ketu are in Chitra Nakshatra, this becomes a big theme of your life. The mantra which will be good for you to recite is obviously Vishnu Sahasranama. This will give you the energies of what you need to do. You'll become more intuitive this way. That's why I recommend the mantras anyway. The ages active for this nakshatra is 5, 20, 32, 49, 69, 78, and 79. Not a very active nakshatra, but this becomes dominant themes in this age group. Next, we shall talk about which one is on next on our list. Oh, the beautiful Swati Nakshatra, the Arcturians. Next, let's talk about that. Take care, be safe. Yajna Vidya, Mahavidya, Guhya Vidya, Vibhavari. They are the mysterious lines from the 1,000 names of Lakshmi Sahasranama, the goddess of wealth, which is all about knowledge as the means of wealth, as the means of attaining wealth. Why are we speaking about that? We come to the 23rd nakshatra out of the 27, Dhanishta Nakshatra, which falls in two halves. First two padas fall in Capricorn, the next two fall in Aquarius. Now we are going from Capricorn to Aquarius in this nakshatra. The dharma and artha fall in Capricorn, while kama and moksha fall in Aquarius. So these people by default, already we can see they become very versatile, just like Chitra Nakshatra did, which again fell half in either side of the signs. Virgo in Libra. So Dhanishta Nakshatra falls between 23 degrees 20 minutes of Capricorn and moves up till 6 degrees 40 minutes of Aquarius. Okay. So the Navamsha goes from Leo to Scorpio. And here we're talking about life lessons and themes of nakshatras. This is just the beginning point, okay? There's a lot more to this story, and we will see that in the coming series. Never mind. So, the nature of Dhanishta is movable. Again, nature, wherever nakshatras are movable, they are very dynamic in nature. They can have lots of facets. They can move a lot between energies. That's the nature of movable nakshatras. The Gana is the Rakshasa, therefore they become more about materialistic gain, the gain on this plane called Earth and everything upon it. The deity is 8 Vasus of abundance. That's why the name Dhanishta. It's all about wealth. Doesn't mean these people will be wealthy in the wealth sense of things. Doesn't mean stock exchange or Wall Street. That's just such a narrow concept of wealth. The entire earth is wealth. Your body is wealth. Your family, your spouse, your kids, your brothers, sisters, your friends, your family are your wealth. But nobody sees it that way, do they? You need to change your idea about what wealth is. I digress. So, energy. What energy does Dhanishta Nakshatra provide these natives? People with personal planets and points in Dhanishta. The energy is of fame and wealth themes. Because it's Rakshasa Gana and because it's movable and because it stands for wealth, they want to gain wealth. They may gain wealth. It's connected to music, dance, and sports. That's why the symbol of the drums and the flute there. It'll help if these guys keep some kind of musical instrument like a drum or a flute in the house. Okay. Um, Back to, yeah. So they love music, dance, and sports. They are social birds, Capricorn and Aquarius, especially the next two padas. The Kama and Moksha pada in Aquarius, they are social birds. They love exploration. They love traveling. They are multi-dimensional in nature. Here's the funny thing about this, guys. They have many facets to their personality. This doesn't mean split personality. In that context, all of us have split personalities because we are different people to different people. Just ask. So, flexibility and hard working is another one of this nakshatra themes. They have a very versatile nature, like I said, very multidimensional in nature. They can be interested in a dozen things because, again, it's a movable sign, so they're very versatile. They're achievers, go getters in Pada 1, going into Leo. Communicators could be in Pada 2 because Capricorn goes into Virgo, which is good at communication. Good in relationships could be in Pada 3 because it's Aquarius going into Libra. Both are about other people, so they're good in relationships. Very action oriented in Pada 4, which is Aquarius going into Scorpio. The life lesson finally for this nakshatra becomes find the right kind of resources to make true wealth happen for you. True wealth in this context, we are talking about beauty, wealth, talents, etc. That's your material. Your raw material can be in many forms, isn't it? It can be your talents, it can be your ability, it can be what how much money you have in the bank account to invest in a business, or maybe learn some piece of music. Again, it comes down to talents. Or are you a beautiful person? Beautiful as in physically, I mean here. Can you go model? Can you do acting? Can you be in film and media and so on and so forth? Because this is a very versatile nakshatra, they can choose to do a number of things and participate. That's the energy of Dhanishta. The mantra Lakshmi Sahasranama, the thousand names of Goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, could tune you into what exactly you are here to do. What could be that thing which you can focus on? If you don't want to go through the long drawn process of astrology, you can straight away start listening to Lakshmi Sahasranama. It will help you. The ages that this nakshatra is active is 27, 36, 40, 45, and 39. Less active, but as you can see, it is active in the prime ages of a person's life, which means if the houses which are active at that particular age in your chart, and if Dhanishta is prominent, personal planets, Mercury, Moon, Mars, Venus, etc., this will be active in those particular years, right? Next, we shall be doing Shatabhisha Nakshatra. Take care.